Hi, today's topic is power of assumption. What a wonderful law that the universe has. So, we're going to talk about this law a little bit in detail today. But for you to understand what exactly is power of assumption and why do you need to get into the power of assumption, you first need to understand that a lot of times when you want to manifest your desires in your life in terms of your career, maybe your health, maybe your attracting a soulmate, or maybe attracting that great opportunity, a lot of times people come and tell that they are looking for these things, they're trying to manifest what they want, but somehow it doesn't work for them, and they are working on the fundamentals of law of attraction. And from that space people say that I do everything in my capacity to make sure that the law of attraction works for me. But can I tell you something here a little bit? Law of attraction, you don't need to do anything specific for the law of attraction to work for you. Law of attraction is working on you all the time. What do I mean by that? So, what does law of attraction say? Law of attraction says that whatever you're manifesting, whatever you want in your life, and universe is listening to what you want, right? Now, when the universe is listening to, it's not listening to you only when you sit and meditate, or when only when you do the affirmations, or only when you are writing something. No, it's listening to you 24 hours, right? So suppose you do a law of attraction, any practice or any technique that you practice of law of attraction, you are probably doing it for 30 minutes in a day. Now, what may be happening in your case is, what about the rest of the 23 and a half hours? What are you thinking in that moment? That is a big catch here, because most of the times what happens in our spaces, we may be thinking positive by doing any of these actions for maybe half an hour in 24 hours, but maybe for the rest of the time, if there is a negative thinking that's going on in your space, now what you're doing is you're manifesting that negative thinking more than the positive thinking. Now, a lot of times positive thinking is something which people think is something that you have to do forcefully. Now, let me take you a little bit deeper into this subject in making you understand that you get almost 60,000 thoughts every single day. Yes, 60,000 thoughts, right? And you're making about more than 35,000 decisions every single day. Now, if you're out of those 60,000 thoughts, if I have to ask you this question, how many thoughts do you actually remember that you thought yesterday? How many decisions do you actually remember that you took yesterday? Most people come back and tell me that they don't remember more than 3 to 5 decisions, or they definitely don't remember all the 60,000 thoughts. Maybe you won't even remember 10 to 12 thoughts, right? So that means all of your rest of the thoughts are on automation. What do I mean by that? That means that these thoughts are coming to you. The same thoughts that came to you today have come to you yesterday, had come to you a week back, a month back, a year back, and maybe God knows how many years. And these are the thoughts which are continuously running in your subconscious mind. And based on these continuity on your subconscious mind, the life that you're manifested right now is a life which has worked from law of attraction. Now, law of attraction says that if you want a different life, you have to start desiring and asking for it from the universe. Now, that is the biggest flaw that I feel law of attraction has. When do you desire something, or when you ask for something? Two things, right? First, if you are separated from that thing, this itself says that there's a separation between you and the universe. And the second time you will ask for something when you already don't have it. So when you're attracting, or when you're using law of attraction, what's exactly happening in your space is you're operating from lack. And when you're operating from lack, you know what you're manifesting: lack, right? On the contrary, what's law of assumption talks about is, law of assumption talks about, and this is the first time Neville Goddard had come up with this law of assumption, and it's pretty powerful. It talks about there is no separation between you and the universe. And if you look at all the philosophies across the world, it has spoken about microcosm and macrocosm. Microcosm is you, and macrocosm is the world outside. Now, you and your world has no difference. In Vedic science, it is spoken that Yatha pinde tatha brahmande. Pinda is you and brahmand is the universe. That means there are five elements outside in the universe, five elements are inside you. And these, you're just reflecting whatever is outside. The reality of your life is a reflection of who you are. And who you are is a reflection of the thoughts, feelings, and your behaviors. Now, these three things, if they are not matching to the goal and desire that you have in your life, you're exactly going to manifest what you had in your life in the past. So, what I want to bring to your notice here is, if you truly, truly want to manifest the life that you want, you have to start thinking like that person. Close your eyes and think about who you are becoming once that goal is achieved. Suppose you want to achieve a goal where you are in that career or in that business and you're making this kind of a money, or you have that perfect health, you have that perfect life partner. When you think of that, look at yourself in that scenario. And when you look at yourself in that scenario, check that person's who you are in that scenario. Check that person's thoughts. I'm sure they are different than the thoughts that you have. Check that person's feelings, the emotions. I'm sure they're different than what you're feeling right now. Check that person's actions. I'm sure they're different than what you're thinking right now and what you're feeling right now and what acting right now. You're completely different as a person in that scenario. Now, when you have understood this, the new person, the new you, what I want you to bring in is that same thoughts, those same feelings, and those same actions you bring in your life right now. Behave as if you've already achieved it. Now, this is different from fake it till you make it. So, I don't believe in fake it till you make it, because when you use the word fake, that itself gives you the imposter syndrome. That itself tells you that this is not okay. This is not true. This cannot happen. Fake has a negative connotation. So rather than how can you use this conversation to tell yourself that you be as is of the person who you want to be in future. Now, how do you be as is like that? Remember, for you to achieve anything in your life, first you got to understand that you're not separate from that frequency, that goal that is there. Now, every goal that you want to achieve, do you agree with me? Somebody or somewhere in their life has achieved this goal. Somebody is already there who has achieved that goal, right? Now, you just want to understand how you get there. It's like, if you don't like a channel on the radio, what do? You switch the channel and you get into the different frequency of the different channel, and you start listening to that frequency. Same thing in the world, everything operates on the frequency, on the energy. So if everything is an energy, your goal is also an energy, and that energy has a frequency, vibration. So, and it is already there in the world outside, right? So that means your job is to just align yourself with that frequency. Now, how do you do that? It's a three-step formula I'm going to teach you to align yourself to that frequency. The first is, you have to be very, very, very clear in your intentions. Intentions of why do you want to be that person. I'm not even saying what goal you want to achieve. I want to tell you that why do you want to be that person who's already achieved that goal? What will happen in your life if you are that person? How your family will benefit, how your friends will benefit from that person, how your organization, your team members will benefit from that person, how at large the world is going to be benefited if you become that person. So set a clear intention by answering these why questions. Also answer the question saying that what can go wrong if you don't become that person? What possibly is going to be painful? It's very important. Your brain learns from pain and pleasure. And whether you like it or no, 99% of people change in pain. So when you show your brain the pain about you not changing or you not becoming that person, what can happen? Will you lose respect? Will you lose time? Will you lose money? Will you not have an identity? Or will your family, your children, your spouse may not get the benefit or not live the best life that they want to live? So what is a painful thing can happen? Set the clear intention with doing that. That's the first step. The second step that you need to do is get into the elevated emotions. Now most people are never in elevated emotions, and that's where the law of attraction doesn't work, because before the law of attraction comes law of vibration. And the law of vibration, the fundamentals of law of vibration is, what are you exuding outside? Your emotions are nothing else but energy in motion. So the way you feel, and not in that half an hour when you're doing meditation or manifesting something, what do you feel at large in 24 hours, at large, in a week, in a month, in a year? The way you feel on every moment to moment basis is something that you are projecting outside in the world. So at large, if you're feeling challenged, at large if you're feeling unhappy, at large if you're feeling sad, you're actually manifesting the reality like that. So work on your elevated emotions. How can you start processing your emotions in the right way, so that you don't carry forward the baggage of the past? So work on your emotions. Remember that your quality of your life depends on the quality of your emotions. Quality of your relationships depend on the quality of emotions. And at large, the life that we lead in the world, it depends on the quality of your relationships. It's not necessarily just your family relationships, your social relationships, your career relationships. Any goal that you want to achieve in your life largely depends on collaborating with other people. So if your relationships, you want to improve on your relationships to achieve your goal, you got to improve on the quality of your emotions. Imagine if you're emotionally low, nobody wants to be with a person who's low on emotions. At the scale of 0 to 10, rate your energy, rate your emotions on everyday basis. Ask yourself this question: if somebody else in your life is at the emotional level 5, lukewarm in energy, would you like to be with that person? We want to be with people, those who are in the elevated emotional space. So how can you start processing your emotions properly, so that every single day you are in that elevated emotion, you're not carrying that baggage from the past, and you can live in the present more often? And the third thing that you want to do is, you need to connect with the vibrational match. Whatever the goal is, you got to become that person, right? You want to connect with that vibrational match. And for you to connect with that vibrational match, it's not about just doing it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes in a day. You got to become that person. Every cell of your body should vibrate on that match. If you want to manifest your desires faster, then every cell of your body should speak the same language. So close your eyes and vividly imagine how it would feel like if you had your big desire manifested right here, right now. Next comes the part where, you got to start understanding what would be a state of mind. The moment you vividly imagine the desire that you want to achieve, start looking at the state of mind. And how can you sustain that state of mind? Like, see, when you imagine that desire that you have achieved and you've already got all those things, how you feel elevated, right? Now the next stage is, how do you keep sustaining that state? And the more you are in that state, the more your brain is going to work towards manifesting that state for you more. For you to do that, I will give you a shortcut. Okay. One is, yes, imagination and visualization. The other thing is training your brain to be more in gratitude. How can you start looking at the things and situations and people in your life that you can be more grateful for? Because the moment you focus on what you can be grateful for, your inner reality automatically start aligning with the things that in future also that you can be grateful for. It's not about your training your brain for 10 minutes, 15 minutes in a day. It's about being in that reality, that inner reality, every waking moment. When you're in every waking moment in that reality, you wouldn't take 15, 20 years to manifest your desire, because there's no separation now from you and that goal. You become that goal. So you will start manifesting your desires in 3 months, 6 months, a year's time. So test it out, try it out, and let me know if this is working for you.